Welcome back to Tour Truck Tuesday. Chris Trott here at the Kingdom, back from the tour, answering some of your questions that have been coming in. And by all means, go for it. Put them in the comments below. What do you want to see? One of the most popular things that you guys have asked is about how you make your decision between the driving hybrid, between the Sim 2 full hybrid, or between your iron of choice, which my iron of choice right here now is the 770. Let's look at these clubs though individually. The DHY, the driving hybrid, the Sim model, is meant to be exactly that. It's a combination between the hybrid and the iron, and it's wider in the sole section. What does that give me? It means as the ball moves through the turf, anytime the sole is a little bit wider, the interaction with the turf should be easier. It should go through and help you out of potentially tricky lies, maybe fluffy lies, maybe divots. I've got a hybrid shaft in this to give me the speed. It also has a speed pocket. What does that mean? It means that the spring effect, the COR off the face, as that ball comes off, it will shoot out. It's going to give you distance, it's going to give you yardage. So if you choose to go down this route, just look at that when you hit it. Just think about how far you want the club to go. Don't just go in there and go, okay, this says 3 on it, I'm going to get this to replace my 3 iron, because chances are, versus a 3 iron, which I have here, this is actually going to go a little bit further. It also has a weight port in the sole that you can see there. And what that weight port gives you is it gives you easier launch. So anytime you can get more launch, it's probably going to come out with a little bit less spin than the iron. Anytime you can get that too, the distance is going to be increased. But also the ease of using this golf club and the whole way the club feels, it's an easier club to use. But it is big, it is cumbersome, it's larger than an iron. To say it's cumbersome is unfair, but it's certainly larger than an iron. So it's going to give you the confidence, if that's what you need as a player, as you look down at this, it's going to give that off. Let's give one a strike and see what we think. And that's a solid hit. It's a good height up there in the higher window, and it's gone out on my TrackMan at a carry yardage of 216. Now that is normalized with a peak height of 77. When you then reach in for the rescue club, the differences become apparent. Now it's significantly wider between my fingers. The CG and the port is further back. The weight, the center of gravity is further back. What does that mean? Well, it means we're going to see even more launch out of this golf club. We're working off a height of 77 feet. This is going to be higher when it's at its peak. It's going to spin a little bit less. It's potentially going to go further. So if you fit yourself into this, or you go down this route, or this is of interest to you, again, don't just get the number 3 thinking, well, I need a number 3 iron to replace. You need to study that. And you need to look at the flight, you need to look at the total numbers. You need to think about where you play. Is this something you're going to need? Are you going to want this out of the semi-rough? Do you carry a 5 wood? Does this take place of a 5 wood? But it's going to be easier to hit again. But when you pull that CG back, and this is the kicker, this is why the iron comes in. When you pull that center of gravity back away from the face, you bring in the variables that can give you what's called gear effect, which is where the ball, if you miss it away from center face, so if you get it towards the toe, it will curve to the left more, and if you get it towards the heel, it will turn to the right more. Which is fine in theory, but think about it. If you are a better player with a bit more speed, and you perhaps turn one over, the hybrid might turn more on you, which could result in you missing the green, which could result in that miss long left, which can often be deadly. Also, lie angle of these clubs, you can't bend them. You're dictated to by the loft sleeve. So they're the downsides of it, but the positive sides of it are it's a very powerful golf club. It's very easy to use. Again, I've just gone for a hybrid shaft. I've matched it up with my driving hybrid. I'm going to take a look at this. I'm going to pick the same target. 77 feet is what we're working off. This should easily go higher than that, providing the strike is there. Pretty good. We've gone very straight, to be fair. Might be similar to 77 feet looking at it. Didn't put too much speed into it. 76. So yeah, same window. Now I did hit the driving hybrid well, but I can guarantee you now, based on design of the club, the driving hybrid is much easier, and you should do this when you test. Pull them out, have a little play around. The driving hybrid is much easier to move back in the stance, get a bit steeper on it, and drive one out there. That still climbed a little bit on me because of the deeper CG. But if I look at height again, that's all I'm looking at, 55 feet. Difficult to do with the hybrid. Not saying it's impossible, just saying that every time you move the ball back, now I've got to guard against going left. Could be tricky. Great job, held it, done well. But you can see, if you watch with a keen eye there, and I'll try and put it on slow-mo to come through, that's gone 31 feet, but I've had to hold the face. Because the CG is further back, the club wants to release. Got to hold the face. But the performance is there. To get those shots, I'm having to change ball position. Performance is definitely there. However, look at that straight away. 77 3-iron, 773 iron, shorter than the DHY because it's not really there, shorter than the Rescue. Now, as a player, well, guess what? I can get in there. The lie angle's nice and flat for me. This is a very comfortable club for me. But you have to remember, I've been brought up playing links golf over in the UK. This feels comfortable for me because I'm not used to seeing the ball in the air so much. I feel with this one, I want to be able to drive one out there more at the height of those previous two shots. And I also feel like this isn't going to go left. Not that the other two did, because technology's moved on, they were good. But because of that deep CG, you can lose them, but they're easier to hit. Let's see with how much ease I can get this 3-iron to move out there. Pretty good. I feel like I should go and play golf today, guys. I'm hitting it pretty good. Let's have a look here. That's coming up. Height 59. That was a standard one, 59 feet. You can see there's a difference there, 20 feet roughly. What, we're on 76 feet with these two clubs. Then your landing angle becomes different. But for me, this would be more of a versatile club. Plus, as you guys saw, which I put on a video the other day, I have a nice 5-wood sitting there that I can do a lot of different things with. That's how I choose to make up my bag. I think these are great. I think I'm in a world where I'd rather play a long iron, but I do think these are great. I play with an amateur some weekends, friend of mine, and he hits this DHY unbelievably well. And it often makes me question it. And hitting some of the shots there that I've just seen, that makes me question it. We'll go on the tour as we move through, and players will use those, and it makes me think that that should be something I should try. The same with the hybrid. You can see how versatile it can be. It's just with that back CG, you do have to keep an eye on your deviation. But if you're a higher handicap player that is looking for an easy to use club in order to hit your 3-iron yardage and get it in the air, well, here's your answer. Then of course you can chip with it around any Kikuya. You can simply use a putting action and it'll come out, and it's a very good club for that too. That's another use for it. A lot of different options with this. Certainly more versatile. And look, based on those shots there, something I might look into too. But there's my thinking behind how I come about making a decision. Look at your whole set as a package, gap the yardages, think about the feel you want, think about the golf club going through the turf. This turf at the moment, it's obviously dormant here in the winter, but think about the ball going through the turf and how that happens, and then make your choices based on where you play and make the game easier for yourself for it to be more fun. I hope that makes sense. I hope it helps. experiment. That's what all these players are doing out on the tours. All the good fitters are experimenting with you. Embrace it, do it. Comment below, subscribe, let me know what else you want to see. And until next Tour Truck Tuesday, try out these ones with the long iron, the DHY and the Rescue.